This is the Rosamond Community Services District on 35th Street in Rosamond, and we're here today for the inauguration of the new Kern County Sheriff Department substation in Rosamond. They are going to use a counter space inside and park cars on the outside. Now the office is going to be open Monday through Friday during regular working hours, but not on the weekend and not at night. But at least it's something. Rosamond has been without a sheriff's station for some months now, and the deputies, even though they're patrolling in Rosamond, have to come all the way from Mojave. So we're hoping that this will cut down on some of the problems we've had here in the community, especially with marijuana. Sheriff cars and officers' personal vehicles are parked here on the south side of the CSD building. As you come into the front door of the RCSD now, you see these arrows which show the Rosamond CSD lobby to the right and the Kern County Sheriff also to the right, and the normal boardroom to the left. This is the new counter in the RCSD lobby, and you can see that Rosamond CSD has the two right windows and the Kern County Sheriff has the left window. We're looking through the window of the new Rosamond Sheriff Substation here at the Rosamond Community Services District on 35th Street. And through the glass, which we see here, is the man in charge, Sergeant James Anton. Sergeant, finally we're going to open, right?
Yep, we're up and running.
Okay, phone lines are all in? And
phone lines are all in, computers are working like computers, so we have little bugs here and there, but we're getting them fixed. Super, super. And the hours for this substation? The hours will be the same as the Rosamond Community Services District. It's going to be, I believe it's 8 to 4:30.
Okay.
Close their door.
Uh-huh.
The clerk will be here till 5, handling calls on the phone, but they close their doors at 4:30. Okay, okay. And call-ins then are referred to Mojave? What do you mean?
I mean late calls like...
Well, any other calls, you'll have the option of going to our dispatch by hitting one, whatever the prompt is. And then there you have options to leave messages for deputies. And then you also, we don't have a fax right now. We're working on getting a fax. As soon as we have that, we'll have that option also.
Uh-huh.
And then there'll also be a message number for the clerk, but she'll just check it when she's here. So.
Mm-hmm. I see. Well, it sure is good to have Sheriff back in town.
We've never left. We've always been here.
I know, I know.
The substation itself has been.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
oh, I know.
But the substation's available for people to come in and get paperwork and stuff like that. We're not going to take reports out of here. We still have to call and have a deputy come out instead of having a deputy sitting here instead of being out on the street.
I got it. Okay. All right. Well, something's better than nothing.
Definitely.
Thanks very much and good luck with it.
Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So my name is Zack Scrivner. I'm the 2nd District Supervisor, and we're here for a very exciting occasion, I think. All of us were obviously greatly concerned with the way in which county budget cuts have affected our public safety department. The Sheriff's Department has been affected by that as well. And what it caused us to do, one of the things that it caused us to do is to evaluate all the leases up and down the county. And so we were looking for a location that was going to be cost effective, something that was more affordable than where the sheriff's substation was before. And that search took us quite a while. Sheriff Youngblood's staff searched high and low, looked at a lot of different locations, and Ron Smith, the CSD general manager, came to me and said, hey, you know, why don't we talk about the possibility of the sheriff's department locating at the CSD, because we have the space, and the price was right. And so we came down here. The sheriff sent some of his top staff, and we did a tour, and we were able to come to, I think, a situation that is going to work out really well for our deputies that are working here, and also the public, and that's the main thing. For members of the public that are going to be able to come and be able to interface with sheriff staff for reports, etc. And so we're now restoring that service to Rosamond, and so I'm really excited about it. I want to thank Olaf Landsgaard, who's the board president, and all of the CSD board members. I know several are here, for working with us, and this is a true example of when different government agencies can come together and solve a mutual problem. That's what this really was. It was an issue that we both wanted to see solved. And so I'd like to, if I could, call Sheriff Youngblood up, and he's going to say a few words, and then we're going to ask Olaf to speak on behalf of the board. So Sheriff Youngblood, please.
Thanks, Zack. First thing I'd like to do is have my staff that's here in uniform to introduce themselves, and we can start here.
Sergeant James Anton, the Rosamond Substation Sergeant.
Sergeant Mike Dorkin, Sergeant Mojave Substation.
Chief Deputy Larry McCurdy, the Law Enforcement Bureau.
Lieutenant James Morrison, and I'll be assigned to this area starting Saturday.
Lieutenant Mike DeLeon, I'm the lieutenant over the Northeast Area Substation Section.
Then we have some of our reserves here as well that I've known for. Oh, in the back, I'm sorry. You know, but you're a little short, and I don't use that very often.
I'm Lieutenant Zack Scrivner. I'm the East Area Substation Lieutenant. And this is my area, thankfully.
And then we have some of the reserves here that I've been worked around for 40 years. Ed, I went to school at Edwards Air Force Base when I was a sergeant in Boron, and he was one of the instructors, and we talked a little bit about the sheriff's office. He said, well, how could I become a reserve deputy? And he puts in more hours than anybody else in this department, and you guys would like to have a reserve program like you have out here. This building is a collaboration between Supervisor Scrivener, me, the Community Service District. I've known Ron for many years, and we really appreciate the opportunity to move into this place and to work with another agency in a very nice building. I just walked through it, went through the entire building. It's very nice. This is half of the equation. The other half, of course, is staffing of a substation area. We've gone through some really, really rough times in the last several years. Just so you have a feel for where we're at, there's 580 deputies in the sheriff's office, and we're down 100 deputy sheriffs. So we're now trying to rebuild that number and fill those vacancies. This Friday, we have an academy graduating with 38 brand new deputy sheriffs. 2 weeks behind that, we're starting another academy, and I don't know how many we're going to be able to get in that academy, but we're trying to build these positions back up at a time when it's really difficult to do. Rosamond will be receiving a brand new deputy sheriff in addition to what they've got. Mojave, which is down 5 deputies, will be receiving 3 deputies, and that impacts Rosamond. Any of your adjoining substations that have deputies, they work together. If there's a call in Rosamond that requires 3 staff members, they come from Mojave as well. So we work as a team. This is a great building. I really appreciate everyone being here. And with that, Olaf, I'll let you say a few words.
Thank you, Sheriff. Glad for coming in.
I noticed you arrived in the helicopter, and I did. I had a meeting, and I walked out of the meeting, got in the helicopter, and we flew over.
And I noticed that your driver was
1978 Rosamond High School graduate.
That's correct.
Randy Rowe.
Yeah. He wasn't that good, but it was okay.
Well, before I get started with my remarks, I'd like to acknowledge, first of all, my board of directors that are here, including Coach Byron Glennon, and next name is Russ Willifer. Of course, Sam McKay, who we mentioned. And is Dennis here? I didn't see Dennis. Schickenbecker. But one of the great things that Zack puts on every year, and I know it's not just Zack, is the State of the County address. It's in January. If you ever get a chance to go to that, it's a great thing to go to. This year we got up there, and I know Ron had been talking to Zack before that about coming over here and using our facility, but it wasn't really until Ron met Donny over at the State of the County address, and they started talking. They said, realize that, well, Ron, you're law enforcement, retired law enforcement in LA County, and Don, of course, Donny's from, did a lot of his work out in Boron here in his early.
1/3 of my 40 years spent on this side of the mountain.
So he's very well familiar with what we need over here, and we're really happy to get the two together and finally get the lawyers together and get the leases worked out. So it worked good. And we really need a lot. We definitely need you here, and we're glad that you're here. And I was just talking to Vinny Otis. They added 400 kids to our 3,500 kids that go to our K through 12 schools here this year. Just 400 new kids. We definitely need to do security. One of the perspectives I get, I grew up here, and I always thought of the center of town being where Rosamond Elementary is. But I went for a ride with Jeff Weinstein a couple of years back, and he's going through, yeah, here in the center of town, here at Rosamond High School, and I'm going, Rosamond High School is the center of town? And I got to thinking, well, realistically, yeah, this is the center of town. You're right smack dab in the middle of Rosamond here at 35th and Rosamond Boulevard, but over half a mile west of the high school. But as Rosamond has changed, it's grown west, and we definitely need you here, and we're glad to have you here. Also, I'd like to acknowledge it's the 412 wing, is that right? Yes, sir. Security wing is here from Evans Air Force Base, coming off the city Grand Opening. All right, thank you guys. And of course, are you going to speak again, or can I introduce your town council guys?
Yeah, no, go ahead, yeah.
Because I know from the Rosamond Municipal Advisory Council, the guys in the years, Supervisor Scrivener. I noticed a few of you here. We'll start with Donna Morris, and I saw Pastor David Hernandez, and who else did I miss? Well, thank you for coming. Go Justin Armstrong.
Easy, Justin.
He's not going to speak up. He's the quiet one. And then, of course, from the Chamber of Commerce, we got the Vice President, Mr. Patel. Kent Patel, is he here? Yep. The Secretary Treasurer, Jed Strange. Now, if you go around town and you see all these pictures on the wall, these are real paintings. They're done by an artist that's Jed Strange actually draw these paintings. That's not going to be, all right? And of course, the President, the Chamber President, Terry Landsgaard. And also we have Rotary represented as well, and Rotary puts on the annual support dinner for the appreciation dinner for all of our deputies that are out here in Rosamond. I know Marguerite Light's here representing Rotary. It's a wonderful event that shows everybody how much we appreciate the deputies and everything they do out here for us. Thank you. All right. And I'd like to thank you all coming out here individually. I know so many of you. Many keep up the good job with the school district, which to see a school district grow at 5, that's more than 10% growth in 1 year, right?
Yes.
And how are you guys holding up with that?
Good, good. We opened up the new school a couple weeks ago, and we're excited. We're excited. We're excited for Rosamond. We're excited for all our students, and we're excited for you guys coming back. Just my good friend.
Well, we actually never left.
That's true. That's true. Right. Right. Yes.
All right. Well, I haven't missed anybody, but again, welcome, Kern County Sheriffs to the Rosamond Community Services on behalf of the Rosamond Community Services District to our facility here. For those of you who haven't seen the facility, you're going to be able to see that later on. Is that right, Ron?
Front office, yes.
When the back, one of the things that I haven't told you is that the patrol vehicles are able to park back there in a gated area so the public can't go in there, and so they got some sort of privacy there. And they also have a place to write their reports in the back in a secure area. So it's an ideal place, and we're glad we could accommodate the Sheriff's Department. I know in the past, actually, in the past, Zach, this is kind of a hint.
they were talking about putting the sheriff's department right over there behind the fire department. So, you know, if you ever want to expand and you get some plans or the money.
I have heard that bug is in my ear.
And that's a natural place for them to be right here in the center.
Yeah, but putting us behind the fire department may not work for us.
Well, I think the bunking facilities there satisfy them a lot better than they require you to go home at night, right? But so, at any rate, appreciate everybody coming out here, and I'll certainly.
Yeah, I wanted to, if Ron could tell us a little bit about some of the improvements that they made, just briefly, so the public knows the facilities that are available. Olaf mentioned a few.
Yeah, so we have in the front we have security windows and everything. We have fingerprinting. Some people need to get fingerprinted for where it's the old-fashioned ink one. Certain like bank stuff when you go get your banking license, things like that. So it's not for criminals, by the way. We're not taking criminals here. And we took part of our engineering building and built a room for the sheriffs back there. They're paying for it, a couple $100 a month. And we just made a deal. We weren't here to make money. We just wanted to benefit the community. But and I'm glad all my board members are here, except Dennis couldn't make it. And it's good. It's a great day. I wanted to make one note, if I could. A good friend of mine is Gary Van Dam from Van Dam Farms. And Wayside Cafe was probably not going to be in business. The building was being sold. He bought it and wrote a lease to the owners there. And he says now that any law enforcement, fire personnel in uniform, it's half off all the time. So he wanted me to tell him that too. So
great. Thanks.
Let's come around. Let's get everybody behind. Everybody that we can fit. Let's get the girls. Let's get the girls up here. Let's hit the board members from the CSD and
come on, girls.
Our Mac and Chamber, Terry and Pan.
hold up. Go get on the other side.
Yeah, who wants to cut the ribbon with me?
All right.
All right, you can do it. You two.
Let's hold it up here.
All right, both.
Let's get them behind us real quick, and we'll do 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Come on. Squeeze in as many as we can. How about some of our? Can we get any more of the deputies up here? Come in the picture.
They're over getting some half prices of food.
Come on up, Anton. You guys. Marguerite, come on in here. Can you slide in? Yeah.
We need a bigger building.
Yeah, we do. Okay,
that'll cost you more. All right.
Okay, so we'll
on 3 we're going to cut the ribbon. All right.
Okay, you count down.
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Hey.
Thank you, girls. Thank you.
I hope you got
Well, Sheriff Youngblood, thank you so much for bringing this substation back to Rosamond. People were very concerned about it.
Yeah, this is something we've been working on since the day we decided that we needed to move out of the other one. And really, there's the economic picture of our county is bleak, and we had to spread this out throughout our county. If you go to Ridgecrest, where we closed their jail, they weren't happy at all. And if you go to Buttonwillow, where we cut staff, they're not happy. But we tried to do the best that we could in a bad situation. Now we're hoping that we rebound. We still have 2 more years of this plan to dig ourselves out of this hole, but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, as you know, we're experiencing explosive growth here, and so eventually the county is going to have to put a real building here.
Yeah, we're aware of the growth that's occurring here. If you go to Bakersfield, I was the patrol commander of Bakersfield in 1999, and I fielded 82 deputy sheriffs. Today we're fielding 50, and we're having a homicide about every other night.
Oh my God!
The whole county is something I have to weigh and balance, and but I haven't forgotten that 1/3 of my career is spent on this side of the mountain.
Yeah. Well, that's good. A lot of times the people here feel, well, we're way off in the corner, and the mountains are in between.
Well, when I was a sergeant in Moron, you actually had to live there.
Oh yeah.
And all the deputies had to live there.
So
it really made good policing, but the law doesn't allow us to do that any longer.
Yeah. And we're a country of laws, so we have to live by it. Well, thanks again. Yeah, and on behalf of all the people here, they very much appreciate it, even though you know it, but
I do know it.
They really do.
I do. Thanks
so thank you much. Yeah. And you're the board that brought the sheriff and allowed him to be in here. So that was good of the board to look for the best interests of Rosamond at large.
Yes, and we try to get it so that it was a reduced cost for the sheriff's department, so we could have a place for our deputies here in town.
Yeah, and I looked inside there, and while it's not going to be open on the weekends or at night, at least it's something
Well, it's the
better
same
than
hours.
nothing.
It's the same hours that we had over at the old substation.
Yeah. And you served for many years as a deputy, did you not, as volunteer?
Yeah, 23 years.
Uh-huh. Are you still serving or
No, I retired 2 years ago.
Retired 2 years ago, uh-huh. Well, on behalf of the community, thanks to the RCSD board for making this happen.
You're welcome.
You bet.